Rev up your engines! All right, today, an interesting car. It's a Nissan Altima 09. It almost has 300,000 miles. So, what's up with that? Has it been a good car? Well, let's get the whole history of this car. Made in the United States, it's VIN number 1, and you can see they didn't do such a hot job painting it because the clear coat's coming off of it. And being an economy car, that's just plastic cover. It's got steel wheels. There's nothing wrong with that. You hit a wreck, you smash the wheel, you can bend it back. You can't do that with alloys, you'd have to buy them. So, now it still has the original engine. It used to burn a little bit of oil, but he tried some of Bernie's ATS cleaner, worked fine. Now it doesn't burn too much oil at all, but it's not on its original transmission. His father's the second owner, and at about 150,000 miles, the CVT transmission had to be replaced. Nissan Jatco transmission, it's not the greatest. And they did take a gamble. Of course, it wasn't under warranty, right? They put a used one in, and the used one had 65,000 miles. And when you add the mileage that he has now, so he's got like 170 or 180 on the transmission. It will probably go out soon, sad but true. A lot of times, even if it's under warranty, they don't necessarily put a new transmission in. A lot of times, they'll just get a used one from a junkyard, or they'll attempt to fix it. Be wary of warranties. They're normally not worth the paper they're printed on. Like the guy that I talked about last week with the Tesla. He's on his third battery because the first one went out at like 60,000 miles. And what did they do at Tesla? They gave him a rebuilt battery. It went out, and now he's on a second rebuilt battery. Who knows how long that's gonna last? Don't believe in warranties. The best warranty is to go out and buy a Toyota or a Honda in the first place. They put 150,000 miles on it, and he was in luck because the previous owner spent between $3 and $4 grand having a used tranny put in. So he's only got $5 grand into this thing. Originally, they were great. They've sold over 5.5 million of these Altimas over time. But of course, things have changed. As in 1999, when Renault pretty much bought Nissan, the quality started to go downhill. Then they got involved with Mitsubishi. Now that's all falling apart. They're getting out of it as everything starts to fall apart. But they were Datsuns, they were great cars, they were Nissans, they were still pretty good cars. Unfortunately, with front wheel drive stuff, they just never got the hang of building transmissions correctly. So yeah, the CVT transmission did have to be replaced, rolled the dice, put in used ones, and he took it to the dealer because it was acting up. Turns out the only thing it needed was an alternator. The dealership wanted $1,600 to replace the battery cable, the battery, and the alternator. Absolutely ridiculous. He did it for $400 himself. You don't want to go to any dealer. That's just the way that it goes. The Nissan dealers are notorious for raking people over the coals. Mainly because they break all the time, so they got a captive audience. There are very few people on this planet that are going to try to fix a CVT transmission on it. I've got friends that are automatic transmission experts. They won't touch these things. They say they're too much garbage. There's too many parts that break. To rebuild them correctly, it's too much hassle. And in this case, they didn't put in a rebuilt one. They put in a junkyard one that had 60,000 miles. That's still going, so it lasted a while, but it'll probably go at some time. We'll see what happens in the road test. Now, just for giggles, we're gonna get my giant computer and hook it up and see what the rest of the stuff looks like. So we'll get our Altail scanner out here. So with a little wiggling, we got it on. All right, we'll do diagnosis. And here we go. We'll go through a full fault scan here. You can see it's going through it pretty fast. And the only thing it's got is one code. And he already told me that it's got a code for the cat. The cat's not efficient. Well, he's got a little exhaust leak you can smell. If you ever get an exhaust leak, that makes the oxygen sensors go squirrely. It'll introduce too much oxygen into the system, and you'll get inefficient cat codes, problem with that. This car does not overheat. It goes 70, 80 miles an hour, no problem. So something like this, you just live with. If you live in a state like him that doesn't do emissions inspection, if it runs okay, your temperature gauge doesn't get too high, and you can drive normal highway speeds, just ignore it. So let's start her up and see what's happening here. You can hear the exhaust leak. Look, it's a racing Altima. Look at live data here. Remember, black is good, red is bad. Voltage is fine, 14.04, 14.12. Does have a lot of information for the transmission. We'll see how it runs when we drive it. It is the second transmission, it's the CVT, and it was replaced with a used one with 65,000 miles on it. But you can see there's a lot of information about it if you do have to work on it. We'll check out more stuff in the engine here. That one code, everything else is totally normal, so we'll take it for a spin. So as we look, hey, it does have 296,002 miles, and it's on its second transmission, which was used. Still goes pretty smooth. No backup camera, it's too old. And here we go, now it's a CVT, so we'll give it a little gas. And yeah, they don't shift. It's really not all that bad considering the mileage that it has on it. Now I can hear that the front wheel bearings are starting to go. That's the front wheel bearings, which is typical. I mean, it's almost got 300,000 miles on it. Now it goes okay, but whenever you hear that noise, hear the woo woo woo. So the left front one is worn more than the right, because when we go left, you can hear it more. But they're both worn. I mean, as long as the tires don't wear out, you leave it alone, but eventually it's going to need front wheel bearings. There we go. To our little drag strip here. We're looking behind us. Should have looked in front of us, but that's too late. We didn't get hit. We're going to take it to the drag strip and see what this thing's got left in it. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Actually, not that bad. It almost burnt rubber there before the vehicle speed control took over. Not that bad. Now we're going 40. Let's see what passing is like. Makes a lot of noise, but it accelerates. Truthfully, this thing accelerates better than the 2022 Honda Civic that I just road tested this morning. It actually has more acceleration. That car only had like 20,000 miles. This has got 296. It still has some get up and go. The owner just told me the oil burning's improved over time because he used Bernie's cleaner, the ATS. He's got 3,000 miles and it's not even half a quart low yet. Still gets decent gas mileage. Not when I'm driving it though. He gets about 33 miles a gallon on the highway when he's driving around at normal speed. So a car this old with this many miles, you can't really complain about it. Yes, it's old. It has almost 300,000 miles. It is on its second CVT transmission. As one of my customers told me years ago, he had one and he was on his third transmission. He just replaced the transmission and he kept driving the car. He said, I know a guy that did it for like 3,500 bucks, and he said, what am I gonna get for 3,500 bucks? So every 100-something thousand miles, he would throw in, he had 450,000 on his. So if you're willing to deal with crap like that. Now, if you aren't, don't buy one of these unless it's $100 and it still runs, and then you hope it lasts a little. He's got his $5,000 worth and it's still going down the road, even though it's got a little exhaust leak. Tire pressure monitoring system doesn't work anymore. I'm sure the batteries are dead or something on it. Who cares? Tire gauges don't cost much. Really? Not that bad of a car. They've sold over 5.5 million of these things. They claim they're going to stop making them in 2025 and they're going to electrify the line. But with the way things are going today, who knows what happens 2025. They might not be electrifying anything. Something like this to go that many miles for that cheap amount of money, not that bad if you don't mind messing with the stupid CVT transmissions that they throw in them. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Road EV17 says, Scotty, I got a 2013 Volvo. My catalytic converter is showing inefficient code. It had a piston ring engine issue that caused it to burn oil for 40,000 miles when I got a warranty replacement engine for Volvo. But now the cat engine's popping up. What can I do? I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but you're screwed, probably. You could try various cleaners, but you had bad piston rings and you burnt oil. Oil burns is burnt carbon. When that carbon sticks to your catalytic converter, it's like cement. It's sort of welded right on to the catalytic converter. If you ever get a catalytic converter, you want to see what they look like, go to auto parts store, say, I want to look at a catalytic converter. They'll bring you one out. You can look through the tube with the flashlight on the other end. You see a bunch of little honeycomb holes, and they're small. Once the carbon gets there and builds up, you can try cleaning it till the cows come home. It will not clean it, though. Oil will have stuck on there, burnt on, and nothing is going to get it off other than replacing the catalytic converter. Now, if Volvo replaced that engine under any kind of a warranty, I'd go back to them and say, you're responsible for that. Maybe they'll give you another one. I've had that happen with people where they got a free catalytic converter out of the deal, right? You're probably peeing in the wind trying to get any cleaner to clean that out, because when it burns oil, that oil pretty much cements itself inside, and a cleaner isn't going to fix that. The holes are too small. The burnt carbon is melted with heat right on there so bad that it's too late. You would have to replace it when they burn that kind of oil. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.